Hi everyone. This is just a quick video about a subject they really like, which is the science fiction comics a band dessin in French. In this first video, we will talk about Chromatald, the Incal, from Alexandre Jorodowsky and Moebius. But first of all, let's say some words about Alexandre Jorodowsky. This author, known in theater and even in cinema, was highly influenced by a French political and artistic movement called the Situationists, or well known as the International Situations. This movement, largely influenced by the French philosopher Guy Debord, was claiming against the consumption society where the life was more and more replaced by the illusion of life. To summarize, people are not really living their life, but living their life through the spectacle offered by TV and publicity, living a procuration life trough the starlets in the media system. Jorodowsky was also terribly influenced by the book Dune from Frank Herbert. He was working on an adaptation of the book into a movie, helped by the Swiss artist H.C. Giger, but the project too ambitious and too expensive. Finally, the project was rejected by the studio. By the way, the original vision of the lore and the design of the artist Giger were still in mind of Jorodowsky, inspiring him for the political plot of the Incal. For the one who are interested, Giger works on the Ridley Scott Alien project. Giger created the famous cinemas, and the idea of the Harkonnen's castle was first of all reused by Jorodowsky as the Press Castle and later in Prometheus as the citadel at the end of the gears. Notice that Jorodowsky seems also to catch some influences from the Star Wars movies and the presence of the Star of War in the latest album of the cycle. Please beware that the next sections contain spoiler on the first comic. If you did not read it, please do it first. Otherwise, a big part of the story will be revealed. In the Incal comic, created in the beginning of the 80s, Jean de Foule is the perfect loser issue from this kind of spectacle society called the CITPs. That we can translate by Well City. In the upper level of the city live the aristo, the privileged class. They are recognizable by the halo above their head, and they form the cruel court of the main character ruling the Well City, the Prez. The Prez brutally maintains his authority through the use of the dwarfs, human being controlled by a machine that changes their brains into brutality and non-humanity. In the lower stages of the Well City, we'll find the lower class, the TV ads or dicks, living in their con-apps kinds of small apartments. Those are addicted to a drug called SPV and Coca-FOL, watching their favorite speaker, Devaloo, explaining the life in Well City through his own EV show. Those people are totally dependent from the images they see on their TV. They are the perfect description of the people depicted in the spectacle society. Well City ends up to an acid lake, in which from the upper stage, the poor people or depressed lads just jump into it from the famous place called Suicide Lane, which located to the highest level of Well City. Next to this acid lake hides the famous Amok, a terrorist organization led by the Nede who dreamed to take the power instead of the Prez. The last cast introduced later in the comic are the Technos, a canonical technical society ruled by the Technopope. The Techno are building machines and artifacts that maintain Well City functional, and they also create the halo of the Aristo. First part, Black and Cal. Despite of his own willingness, Jar, the Fool class or detective, will be in the center of a plot that will quickly overwhelm him. Being the bodyguard of an Aristo female who decided to take some fun in the hot quarter of Well City, he will start to mess with the guy from Gimmuck, called Doghead in the comic. He really have the head dogs. Trying to escape him by reaching the fan system and duration pipes of the city, he will have to mess with some monsters, one of them being a bird, and extraterrestrials and a Moths coming on Well City to steal a strange artifact called the Incal. John reaches his small apartment, still occupied by his pet bird called Depot, a concrete gull. He wants to rest and to take some whiskey and smoke cigars while his trip is interrupted by three guys trying to retrieve the famous Incal artifact. Fortune finally throw in the acid leak to reveal where the piece is hidden. She will unexpectedly saved by the Roboflakes that we can translate it by Robocop S. Keep in mind the comic has been written before. Paul Verhoeven created Robocop in the mid of the 80s. Getting back home, John is impressed to see a crowd of sick people waiting for miracles from the sacred bird, which is in fact Depot, in which John the Fool have hidden the Incal. Retrieving the Incal from the bird and ignited the anger of the crowd by being prophanated the bird. John and BOL on Terry starts a riot between the Bergs, coming to retrieve the Incal, the crowd. The rob of Lix he managed to escape, but he is arrested by the dwarfs at the press. During his arrest, Defool decided to eat the Incal he is brought to the press, but finally managed to escape, not before vomiting on the press. Once again, he will manage his escape and steal the press shuttle. Being shot down by the press custodian, he will hide in a train in the direction of Techno City. During the trip, he will discover the train transport corpses to the Techno City, and he will start in a crisis where the Incal will reveal his different personalities. Finally, John will end up into the Techno City where the Techno Pope, highly interested by the Incal 2, will reveal to him the existence of the Black Incal. In the meantime, the Queen of Amok, interested by the artifact, launch after him, the Meta Baron, the best bounty hunter of the galaxy, after convincing him to bring back Defool from the Techno City in exchange for the life of his son, Solun.